sad times in my head. That's feelings come up and just let them go.
Change my life, mate. Change the way I think. Change my life.
Been very emotional.
That was good.
Is that Maxie? Do you want to listen to a song before we start, mate?
Got any on the request?
Do you want to fucking chuck on it? It's always just me and him.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's
Yeah,
fucking
'cause
very inconsiderate.
No, I know.
Aren't you?
Well,
Aren't you?
Very inconsiderate boy, aren't you?
Aren't you, Max?
Yeah, aren't you a naughty boy?
where's this coming from?
Ah.
Don't we?
No.
It's off We Mean Well potty. It's fucking hilarious.
Ah.
So they like call their like the people that ring in. They call them the bedwetters because they always talk about piss in the bed when they're on the piss. And it started with that, and then they were like listening to the hotline, and they go, "You're a naughty boy, aren't you?" And then it just started like that. And now if you see them, because there's two of them, once they
Post anything. It's
Yeah.
just like people in the background. It's like one today I watched. She just moved into a house. He's just some guy kind of goes, moved into a new house. You, what do you call it? Like you naughty girl?
Yeah. It's like, Lulu's got a new house, very organized, aren't you?
Oh, Jesus.
And then she's like, she comments back, she's like, very organized, aren't I? It's fucking hilarious, man. I'll show you after this. You'll
It's
fucking
actually
lose it. Because it started with, he was like, fucking hell, can you shut up about it?
Does he?
And I showed him.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I showed him, and now he doesn't shut up saying it.
Yeah, when you get those really good sayings,
Just
you
sold it.
You just keep throwing it out there and you hope it sticks.
Hang
I was
on,
like that all the
maybe
time
I might
as
be
a
able to
kid.
find a...
Just sold a
Aren't
private
you?
reconnection, don't you?
Aren't you?
Didn't you?
We're naughty little senoritas with private reconnections, aren't you?
You know one of the funniest ones. Well, not the funniest one.
Please
Have
tell
we
me.
started this yet?
Yeah, we're on. We're live.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we'll probably just fucking
No, hang
welcome
on.
back to the podcast.
Yeah,
for a
just
week.
been fucking
fucking-
cut
Then-
off by him.
Sorry,
Going through a
we'll
story.
come back to you. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Thank you for listening and chiming in. This is going to be episode 52. If you got to watch the last couple, they are very good, and I hope you enjoyed the guest. And on the next couple, we'll have a few more coming up. But a little quick one: if you haven't yet subscribed on YouTube or Spotify, can you please do that because it helps us out a lot.
Yes.
Gives us that exposure.
Yes,
Good
please.
exposure.
Please, so it doesn't, fuck up the algorithm.
Yeah.
It helps us a lot. Please.
So if you are watching right now and thinking, what is Jacob doing right now? He's trying to find something on TikTok.
Yeah, we'll probably cut this, but anyway, I need to
Anyway, Maxie, let's start with you.
Yeah, mate.
How you going?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Hey, he's had a very busy sort of week, but it's only bloody Wednesday now, but it's been pretty hectic. It's been good though.
Yeah.
Like a really just getting after it really. We started back month 7 now for King's Legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Had our first call last night, and yeah, Jacob was going full force at us. Pretty much just like fucking calling us out to get shit done, which was good. He said, be the Kobe. Was it Kobe? No, be
No,
LeBron
I made the Kobe
You
joke.
did make the Kobe joke.
We're not going to repeat that
No,
out
we're
on
not.
live.
No, but it was good. Sorry, the LeBron. He's like the main LeBron joke. Let's say saying the comparison is like, do you think he's going to sit back and let your teammates kind of let you down or not work as hard and all that sort of stuff? No, he's going to call you out. So, in my honest opinion, fuck LeBron, go the real GOAT, MJ. How much and he was really pushing everyone because after watching The Last Dance, you see the way he trained. And he was just at the front of everything, even after whatever he was doing. So, yeah, being like that, just, yeah. And I remember back playing rugby, every time was like, you're only as fast as your slowest man, weak chain link and all that sort of stuff. So,
I think a good mentality that you should be following is Dylan Brooks. Fake it till you make it, baby. Because I don't know how the fuck he has made it to the NBA. He's serious. Your favourite rapper sings about him all the time.
Who's my favourite rapper?
Drake.
He's not my favourite rapper.
Well, you've fucking been playing him for the last fucking
Who
42 days.
For all the dogs, baby.
On the Dogs.
Roof.
Oh, well, don't worry. I thought you knew who Dylan Brooks was. Don't you?
Oh, no, I do know. I remember from the last
He's the
NBA
villain.
series. Yes, the villain. I do remember him now.
Dylan the villain.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He sucks. And
Yeah.
somehow he's got to where he is still.
Good on
so
him.
good on him.
he's done well.
But
Yeah.
we're not taking that advice into Kings, aren't you?
no,
We
no,
are
shit,
fucking...
Because you got to be authentic, man. If
Exactly.
you fake it till you make it, it gets exposed, man.
Yes.
Our boy Jordan Peterson always says that. All those
You want to suck him
narcissists.
off.
Fuck you. wouldn't. Anyway, he tells you, man, all these incompetent people get found out real quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't feign incompetence for a long, in anything, really, until you get it. No, but pretty decent day, too, this morning. Got up and got after it. Went for a brekkie and a read. Took my dog for a walk. Mowed the lawn.
Did you do the tasks that Kings gave you?
No, I haven't yet. I've looked it over, but I haven't done them yet, so thank you. Busy day, though. I'll dedicate some time tonight for it. But no, mow my lawn, and I'll tell you what, there is nothing that turns me on more than a freshly mowed lawn. oof, the way you just kind of cut it nicely, the smell, the texture, everything. Ooh, gets you going.
Doesn't with me, man. I'm just
I was
screaming
about
at
to
the
say,
mower.
do you know what else turns me on? That not doing lawn.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, mate.
Just something. There's something peaceful about going up.
Oh,
and
can you
back and
can you
up
show me how to
and
start
back.
your whippersnipper,
I have to come around.
please?
Oh, jeez.
a man's job.
Fucking. I look like the biggest baboon out in the driveway. I'm ripping this fucking cord.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably put the wrong fuel in it. Whatever.
Probably.
Has it got a switch that kills it, like for on and off?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I've YouTubed how to do the correct way.
Did
Obviously not the correct way. Anyway.
Anyway,
how are you, Tay?
pretty good. I've what day is it today? Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday.
I had a bit of a slow morning today, which was nice. So I had I ain't gonna say sleeping, but I had a sleep in for myself, and
Yeah, how what was your sleeping looking like?
had 8 hours and 25 minutes,
Oh, that's pretty good.
which is pretty good for,
Nice,
for
man.
old Tahi. But yeah, had a slow morning, took my time, had a coffee, went down to the beach, and then hit the gym, and then I've been in here with Jacob. Yeah, actually missing family dinner tonight.
What?
Well, I'm intermittent fasting at the moment,
Right.
and I've already eaten my. What's the time? Yeah, I'm done. So I can only eat between. I do like 8 hour stints of eating, and then have
Yep.
16 hours off.
So are you still going to go around to the dinner, or are you just not going to put yourself in the environment?
I'm just going to put myself there because I know exactly what Hayden and Tyson will do.
Yeah, fair
You're
enough.
gonna eat. Are you gonna eat? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they will just look at me while they eat, and then Tyson will
Mm.
get the garlic bread and look at me because there's always garlic every week.
Yeah.
There's garlic bread. Has to be garlic bread.
Not
And
unusual.
he will just look me in the eyes because he sent me a message today when I said I couldn't make it. He's just like, "Oh, more garlic bread for Tyson."
Oh, that's gold.
But yeah, no, I'm actually doing pretty good. Had a bit of a little chat last night with Jacob and today. Today's one was actually really good. And then yeah, other than that, I'm fucking good.
How are you finding the intermittent fasting? Intermittent.
Well,
Yeah,
I've had
I struggle with that word
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
so I started doing 11 a.m. till 7 p.m.
Mm.
But then because I get up so early, it was very hard to eat. And it wasn't too bad, but then like my favorite thing is breakfast. I love breakfast.
Yeah.
So I changed it now till 7 till 3.
Hmm.
Is it 7 till 3? I think I left it a bit late today, but I didn't eat till 9:30, I think, or something like that. And which I thought would be a lot easier, but now I'm having dinner at 2 o'clock. So then it's like it's just all over the place. I'm just trying to play with it, what works best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I don't know, if you're eating dinner at 3 o'clock and then going to bed at 8,
Well,
like it's still the same window. Don't get me wrong, but is there how about this? Before I even say anything, is there a reason why you're doing the 8 hour block?
I'm just trying different things. What's just testing what's because I've done diets and stuff in the past, and it kind of works. But then I'm just trying to find if I can have something where it's just like, okay, I can just have this to eat between.
So it's
'Cause then it's
16 hours no food, 8 hours allowed to eat.
Yeah, but Dr. Hubel, I think his name is
Huberman.
That's the
Yeah.
one. He reckons if you have your dinner at least 2 hours before bed to give it enough time to digest,
Yep.
Yeah.
you'll have a lot more deeper sleep.
Yeah.
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 So that's why I kind of like, okay, maybe because I haven't been having good sleep since I've started doing intermittent fasting.
Yep.
So now that I've swapped it around, last night one was really good.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm just going to.
Do you think if you eat at 3 and then go to bed at say 8, is that going to fuck it up? Sleep? Like, what about if you get to a point where you go 6 o'clock, right? And you're like, I'm fucking starving.
Well, I'll just push through it.
Yeah.
Fair
So-
enough.
Well, it's more. It's also too. It's like the reason I'm trying to do this is like it's a bit of a mental push kind of thing. So like when I'm doing the run,
There you go.
it's just like little things that I can add to like help
Exactly.
build the mind.
Because that's right. You won't have much of a window to eat during that run. So yeah, if you train your body to be able to do that 8 hours of smashing into food. So you're like, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian, but I'm in and around a lot of them, and you know, I've read a fair bit and listened to Dr. Human. He's switched on. You know, there's pros and cons for any diet. I feel, as for all your listeners out there, the best diet you could ever do is the one you stick to.
Yeah.
And it depends on what your calorie needs are.
Well, that too, and then I think you just got to understand if you've done a few like what's worked for you and what hasn't.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much where I'm at. Like I'm eating between I think it's 22,000 to 24,000 calories a day.
Down.
2200.
2200, sorry.
Yeah, don't say 22,000.
That's a lot of food. Do you know there's a guy actually doing that?
Yeah.
And it is fucking. It is insane.
What, bodybuilder or something, or it's like someone that fucking.
No, he's leaning out
Leaning out.
What do you mean?
22,000 a day.
Who's that?
What's his name?
I don't know his name, but I saw him this morning on Instagram. But he's fucking shredded. Yeah, so today he did that says to his followers.
Oh, is that crumpet dude?
He had the fucking crumpets.
Fuck, I seen that.
He had a
day.
whole every meal was a crumpet because he had that was his today. He's like just to show people he could.
It was like 40 crumpets throughout the whole day with
More
heaps
than
of
that.
shit all
In
over
the first session, in the first sitting, there was 24.
Jesus.
So like he eats all this food like this, and then like does it.
Oh, I think I've seen him. Yeah, he just eats like a shit ton of like everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just straight. He's ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Mate,
fucking
you gotta
insane.
think some of the strongmen, like Eddie Hall and all that. When Eddie Hall deadlifted 500 kilos officially because it was in comp, so I'm gonna get a lot of hate from your strongman mates on that one. So up Thor, you didn't do 501.
Yeah.
Whatever. They documented his documentary about how much he was eating. Man, he was eating like around 15 to 20,000 calories.
It's ridiculous.
He was eating a breakfast. Like we're talking a full English breakfast because he was English, smashing all of that with blood pudding, snags, baked beans. Like the thing was piled up. And as an interim snack in between that and morning tea, he was having full Domino's pizzas and a full tub of ice cream.
Yeah.
The bloke was just, and he was big. Like he's only 6'2" or something, 6'3".
He's like 160, 170 kilo when he was fucking
No,
lifting.
no.
wasn't
He was 200 kilos at
Yeah.
like a frame of 6'2", 6'3".
Wow.
When you've got Brian Shaw around the same way, and Hapthor as well was the same way.
And
But
they're
they're like
way taller.
6'10". You're like, fuck.
What
they're incredible.
did you hear about I seen this on a video recently. He was speaking to who was that name that you said? Not Thor, the other guy?
Brian Shaw?
Brian Shaw, yeah. He was having a conversation with him. Did you hear about what Eddie Hall did with the hypnotherapist building up to lifting that deadlift?
Oh, I think it was something like he was just constantly visualizing it, wasn't he?
Yeah, no. So he they went through like him, a hypnotherapist and a psychologist on a 3-month build up or a 6-month build up to that lift. They would be weekly, constantly putting him under hypnotherapy and really driving him to this point, because the way that like humans release a normal amount of adrenaline is when something, let's just say, your kids are in danger or your family's in danger, or where something is this instant moment where you got to fucking react.
Yeah.
That's where the highest amount of adrenaline is released, so you can fucking go do that, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, for me to go up to a barbell and deadlift it is not going to release that adrenaline. So a 6-month period, he said, I'm not going to tell you the scenario that I got drummed into my head. But he's like, I had this scenario drummed into my head over and over and over again for 6 months or 3 months or however long it was. And they trained him up to when, just before he went out on stage, he pinched his back of his hand like this. And that initiated that thought process to release the adrenaline.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, wow.
Mike Tyson used to get hypno before before fights and or not before fights, but during camps and stuff.
Yeah.
They used to get him into killer mode. So
Yeah.
once he went into the ring, have you seen the one when I forget who he was fighting, but he's standing in the ring and old mate's bouncing around and he's just
looking.
like
Just
he's
death,
just,
right?
his eyes are just going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that's when he was in that
Mike
zone,
Tyson before prison, bro. Fuck that, man. Like, there is no way I would go anywhere near that guy.
Nah.
Like that. That's a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was 16 or 17 at the Olympics and won gold knockout within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
How good's that speech that he does? I'm not going to repeat it.
I broke my back. My back is broken.
No, he's like,
Which one is it? Is it disc or vertebrae? It's spinal.
No, it's like
let's get Mike Tyson.
it's a speech that he does after like winning a fight, and he's like, yeah,
I'm impeccable.
yeah,
Right?
that speech,
Yeah.
that speech, yeah.
Yeah.
And you just
No
like
one can
rattles,
touch me.
rattles. Just like, you're a fucking,
Yeah.
you're the goat, bro.
Yeah.
You're the goat.
Yeah.
I want Watsy to do similar painting that he did with Bugsy. He said have like Mike Tyson, heaps of goats on like a big painting piece put in the office.
That'd be sick.
Mm.
Yeah. No, he's incredible. I remember watching his documentary, or Tyson, I think it was, like that. Like, really good documentary. And he said there he would just watch the opponent in the ring, never take his eye off him. And the other guy would do it too. And as soon as he looked away, he's like,
He knew
I've
he
got
won.
you.
Yeah.
I've got you. I think he's had one of his best fights. This is the best one. This is a pretty funny one. So one of his best fights where it was a first round knockout. He had his coach before he died. Like his coach before he died. who just kept him on the straight and narrow. He would have been the best ever if his coach stayed alive as he navigated his way through that early initial phases of heavyweight champion. He would have been sweet. He would have been probably a different guy, but then again, he wouldn't be the Mike Tyson we see today.
Sure.
But yeah, he never used to, he was diligent training and everything else, and he wouldn't, party or anything before the fights. But I think he did maybe a night or two before, and he caught a VD back in the day. That's what it was. And so all he wanted to do was get out of that fucking ring and go and see a doctor. That's all he wanted to do at that moment. And so he went out and just fucking boom, knocked him out within like first round, first 10 seconds, and it was done. That was a heavyweight title fight, done. And then he went straight to the dressing room, got a doctor to come in, give him a shot, and he was good. Probably partied his ass off again. Like when you see a photo of him, he's got his tiger and his nose is just white. Fuck, good on him.
Wild.
Huge.
When did he go to jail? Like, was he already champion, then went to jail, or?
No, I think he lost a couple and then went to jail.
Yeah, he lost one because he just lost his focus, man. Same thing. He just kept partying and then lost his focus and got dropped. Dropped.
Was he dating Jessica? No, Halle Berry, I think he dated, didn't he?
I have no idea. I'm not really known.
He's loose.
Yeah.
Oh, he's.
Let's get him on here. No. Yeah, I remember Joe.
I'll make the
I'd
call.
happily do some mushrooms with him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, gotcha.
One of I know when Joe Rogan interviewed him a couple times now.
Yeah.
He said one of the first ones. He goes, "I was so lucky I had the new desk.
Yeah.
It was like 6 foot long.
Yeah.
That's all he was just like, cause I think it was when he's getting back into training.
Yeah.
And that's when he was like back into that killer mode. And he's like, he's gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah, that's what Joe
also
Rogan
wrong.
said. He was just like, I wouldn't have done the podcast if I didn't have that large desk in front of me. If it was like us just sitting across from each other, he's like, I would have been like, I can't, you're going to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Wild.
Loose.
Wild, man.
Born killer.
Even bloody Joe's a fighter.
Oh, he's kicks, bro.
No, wouldn't want to.
No
say
thanks.
Yeah, they look pretty wild.
That.
No,
Well,
thank you.
remember you guys say, you visualize Jordan Simi to come on as your number one. Man, if I could get Joe here,
Oh,
Good plays, that's everyone, number one.
yeah. Yeah, that's
fucking-
just,
hey, dream
That's
big.
impulsive, number one.
Dream big, big.
yeah. I don't know about
Um,
We'll get Chris Bumps.
Oh, yeah.
Takes fifth out. 5
The
times
goat.
Olympia.
Daddy.
before we
Sorry.
lose
Daddy
too
kid.
much of track here,
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
what are we what's on for today's agenda?
Sorry, Maxi.
So today's agenda, we kind of go, we reflected on the 50 odd previously, and we're moving forward to the next 50. But it's a bit of a more of a reshape in what we're doing with Polaris within a changing culture, a changing sort of mental wellness approach. So, the old school versus the new school. I know there's a lot of arguments for old school, new school in terms of music, a lot of things in terms of training, a lot of things in terms of dieting, all that sort of stuff. But when you really find something that's it's just revolutionary. It's when new information comes out, when we're presented with things that we now know that probably aren't as accurate, or some become obsolete, and all these different things. Everyone needs to adapt. Adapt. What is that? Sorry? Adapt. Improvise, adapt, overcome. What did you know? That was Bear Grylls. That's his 3 words. So that's what we do. We kind of are able to be sort of the best version of us, the best version of the business, but then the best version of, to bring out the best version of everybody else. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. That was sort of what we want to talk about. And in your guys' eyes, how do you feel, or share your own experiences of things that were in the old school, and then what we feel coming into the new school, what we can offer for one, but also what we do personally.
Yeah, I'll give a rundown of old school versus new school as well, so everyone's on the same page. So I'm sure that you've seen us on socials and stuff like that. But over the past 4 months, we've been really dialed in with this new business coach and
Old John.
Johnny boy, fucking legend.
Still not sure if he's American or if he's
no,
New
he's
Zealand.
Kiwi. He's Kiwi.
Is he?
He's back over in the motherland now.
He
So-
had a very his voice you couldn't really tell.
Yeah,
It was maybe a Canadian.
I thought he was American when I first met him.
Yeah.
He's definitely Kiwi. They're both definitely Kiwi. So really dialed in with him. And I guess when I first sat down with John, he was like, so what does Polaris do? And this is a question that Tahi and I and Max and Akash, we get all the time. And before we started doing this work, we sort of looked at each other. We're like, oh, it was just like a big blanket statement of like, yeah, we do this and that and this and that and this and that. And it wasn't coming from a place of like so sure of ourselves. It was more, well, maybe one of these things that I'll throw at this person, they will bite at. that's not what we want, because we're not here to please everyone. We're not here to fucking have everyone involved into the movement. So it's more getting really clear and specific on, you know, what Polaris is and what we do. So that will stem all the way back down to, okay, well, if we are doing what we're doing, then why are we doing that? So then that comes back down to, like we said, old game versus new game. So as Maxi was saying, you know, we're getting very clear on this cultural shift that's happening at the moment. We're getting very clear on how, let's just say, the mental and emotional health game is starting to definitely shift, definitely open up. And, you know, I stated in a video that comes out tonight, you know, when I started doing my own personal development work 6-7 years ago, I truly believe before I even started, all there was going to a GP, then getting medicated for it. That's all I thought there was. First thing I'll say, I'm not here to knock that. That's not what we're here to do. But the point is, that is definitely the old game. Someone speaks about their mental health being bad. All right, go see a GP. Then you can go get an action plan in place. That is the old game. All right, that's still there. It's not like that's not going to go away. But that is like, you know, let's just say going to play a game of cricket and taking an 80s bat out to play. It's like, it still work, but it's not going to be as good as what these new and improved bats are. So now stepping into this new game, the new game will looks like, well, we're not here, especially with our mental and emotional health, just to, you know, be reactive to it. So when things are bad, we go see someone, that someone tells us what to do. We go do it for 8 weeks. Then we go back and see them for another half hour. But you don't even remember that bloke, and that bloke might be different to the other bloke, and then you don't form a connection, and you're in a room where you feel like you're fucking uptight like this, and you're like, I don't really want to speak about my, you know, my mental health and my emotional health. I feel like I just want to get out of here. Those days are fucking done. Like, leave them over there. Let's step into this new game now. And this new game we're transitioning into, it's like, instead of being told what to do, we're learning what to do.
Yep.
Okay. So it's more not someone telling you what to do. These are the things that fucking work. Okay. These are the things that you can implement for yourself to strengthen and, you know, really adhere to your mental, emotional health, to the point where it's not like, in those moments, you start fucking freaking out. You don't know what to do and you're by yourself. And you're like, fuck, who do I call? I don't know what to do anymore. I'm fucking done with this. Now it gets to a point where you go, I know what to fucking do. I know how to implement. I know how to move through this. I know how to regulate my system, whatever it may be. Now you're stepping into an era, or the regulation era, where you are regulating things for yourself. You're stepping into a place where the empowerment is coming and you're doing it for yourself. So now all of a sudden, instead of being a reaction change for your mental health, i.e. when it's bad, go see someone. Now we're creating a lifestyle where it's like those days that seem like you couldn't get through them anymore, all of a sudden they're not as bad. All of a sudden it's a lifestyle that you're adhering to strengthen your mental and emotional health. So that's the old game versus the new game. Okay. Get very clear with this. Polaris isn't creating this new game. It's not like the new game is being created because of us, but you best fucking believe we are the leaders for this new game. You best fucking believe that. That's the point. Okay. So with this new game, get on the fucking train and let's fucking all steam ahead along this new game. Get on the carriages. We're going to show you how to become the winners at this new game. That's what we're here for. So when people say, well, what does Polaris do? That's exactly what we fucking do. We're going to show you how to win at this new game. That's what we're here for. So yeah, I thought it would be really cool for us we'll start with Maxi and we'll get really clear on what the old game was like for Maxi when he was living in that old game of, you know, seeking those forms and only using those forms, and now stepping into the new world, what that looks like, how it feels, and what he's learned from it. So
Fuck, man, that just got me hard.
go for it. Yeah,
That
like,
was awesome, bro.
and that's the thing, you know,
I was like, I hope he doesn't ask me to say something because I don't think I can top that.
that's,
No, what are your thoughts?
but that's the,
When he said Maxi, I was like, yes.
this is the thing, by the way, though, like, and I've only just learnt this over the past few months. Until you get really clear on what you're here to do and why you're doing it, you get lost. You know, you get fucking really, I guess, like, confused. Or there could be points of being like, what am I going to post today? What am I going to write about today? What podcast are we going to do today? Even Maxi, we were like, oh, what are we going to do today? And I just literally voice noted being like, no, we're doing this because it's through the business framework. And we're like, bang. And as soon as we've learned all of this, it's like everything else is just piling up on top of it. And it's funny, you know, Like even today, we fucking landed a big contract today, and it's just like you get really dialed in with it, and things start to really get clear, and you're able to move forward with it. So it's really fucking cool. But like we said, we're not here to knock the old game,
No.
right? You can still play in that old game. That's fine. But I'm telling you, you're going to get left behind. You're going to get left behind to a point where you're like, fuck, I'm fucking done with this. I need to get over to this new game. So the really cool thing is now, it's not that we're selling Polaris. Because I truly believe if you're just consistently selling things over and over and over again, it just becomes very egotistical. I just want to speak about how to become the winners in this new game.
Yeah.
That's all we want to do on this podcast and get really fucking clear on it. So, yeah, Maxi, go for it, bro.
Dark. Drew on blanks. That's a first. No, mate. That's inspirational as fuck, man. That's awesome. But yeah, it's great to be able to. I know I've had that challenge too. When they go, "Oh, you're with Polaris, so what do they do?" And I go, "Well, I'm an articulate sort of fellow, so I can kind of bullshit my way a little bit." But you're right. It's good that we have that clear cut purpose now, moving into this new game.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my experiences with I'd say the old game when I first acknowledged that I had something wrong with me. I'd say wrong, but something was not quite right. I wasn't living the way I wanted to live.
Something's not regulated.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I was making unresourceful decisions.
Yeah.
All those sorts of things. I was under the impression the only way to do it was, go and see a GP, get a mental health plan in place, either be medicated. But for me, I didn't want to. I think I had my own look, and all listeners out there, for disclaimers, this is my own personal view. It's no one else's, and I'm not knocking anybody of what they do. A lot of people who are in this space, the mental wellness space, are tremendous humans to actually take time to do it. Good on you. But from my experience, I didn't want to be medicated because I saw mates of mine during our teenage years be medicated, and they just changed. I know you can go down a rabbit hole with pharmaceuticals and teenagers and balancing hormones and all that sort of stuff. But it did change a lot of guys, and I was just terrified that it had changed who I am as a person.
Yeah.
So a lot of my emotions were still unregulated. But when I finally, when I first found about it, I was 22, 23, my mates were like, oh, no, actually 21 I was. They're like, there's something wrong with you, bro. Like, you need to go and see someone. Like, this is quite frightening. Or what's going on? And it was around the time I had my first attempt at life, and that was pretty fucking scary. So I went and saw a GP in Sydney when I was down there, and same thing. He's like, "Oh, do you want to go on medication? Well, we can go straight this way and do a bit of a plan." He was a really good doctor. I'll give him that. A really good GP, kind and all that. Says, "I don't want to go on medication. Let's come up with something else." So he's like, "Okay." Within that half-hour consult, he gave me a bit of a plan, an action plan of what to do. So that's why I say this guy's probably pretty good, because he gave me a bit of an action plan about separating uni, work, and living, having a good time. And that was good. It worked for a little bit, but it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't sustainable because the environments I was putting myself in were the cause of a lot of my stress. And all it was what you just go, putting yourself in. You can't compartmentalize.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
just every single facet of your life. It just didn't work for me. And then I sort of, got back on the train and away and just kept doing my thing, finished uni, went out to work, and then was in a pretty serious relationship for a little while, and that was tremendous. Also had its downtimes when we finished up, and a horrible sort of thing. But just prior to, again, all my emotions and the overwhelm and all the sort of things were coming up when this was a defining moment of my life. I was getting very close to being married, going through all that sort of thing with kids and all that sort of shit. So there was a lot of my emotion that was unregulated, and I was sort of forced in, not want to say forced, but I knew that I had to do something to I thought, I need to fix myself to save this relationship and everything else. So I saw a psychologist, saw a GP, and he put me on antidepressants. So timeline's a bit screwed there. I actually went to a psychologist, went for a work, a couple of weeks later, everything ended, and I was quite down, very quite down, and enough that Dad was pretty concerned and said, "Mate, get on yourself on medication. Like, you need to." That's where the old school also came in. You need to do it because you're not yourself. You're moping around. You're very depressed. I was like, I know that. So I did. I got on the antidepressants, and I just look. I think they did their job. They may have just stopped me from going over the edge a little bit. But yeah, when I saw the psychologist, I just didn't quite feel things were going the way I needed it to. I had an hour time slot. I think the first 10 minutes is really, like, sometimes I'd overrun, so you wouldn't be getting in there till 10 past your appointment time. Then it's a 5 minutes of a quick catch-up and whatever, revising what you went through. And then you talk for half an hour, then before you know it, it's like, okay, we've got to wrap up. I got no resolution from it. And then when I'd ask for some action plans about, this is how I'm feeling, how can I deal with this? It took 2 or 3 days before I had a list, and it was kind of, just generic in a way. I was like, well, that's not helping me at all. It didn't. So, there's just that cycle of just continuing on, because I was on the impression, go to a psychologist, everything's sweet. Then maybe I had to elevate to a psychiatrist, someone who's medically trained, and they will diagnose a lot of mental health disorders, or whatever you want to say. And you'd think that they're the pinnacle, they're the top of the hierarchy. But no, as soon as I went to one of them and told them about how I was feeling, they straight away blamed things in my life that I was doing as a cause of it. The way I was behaving, the way I was training, like eating, all that sort of shit. And I was like, man, I've been feeling this since I was 15. Like, that's nearly 15 years of feeling like shit. Deep down, moments of happiness and all that mask and all the rest of it. But as my body's changing, food's changing, all that sort of shit's changing, there's something deeper than just what the fuck I'm eating and what I'm consuming and how I'm living my life. Like,
sure,
there's something more to it. And it wasn't until, I was going through all this shit, and Acacia was a godsend, really. She's an angel who sent me a message saying, you should probably check these guys out. They're different, something alternative. And it was you, Jacob. So, and then I too was very hesitant, like, and skeptical. I'm like, how's breath work, and how's this going to change me?
Sure.
Like, what's all this? I had to, confront what I thought the old school was the way to go. Go and get all this formal bloody treatment, and be juiced up to the gills with medication, and you'd be fine. I said, but that's just, like you say, that's just a Band-Aid fix. That's a Band-Aid fix to a deep fucking cut, like a gaping wound. And so, yeah, I bit the bullet, funnily enough, and just went, fuck it, I'm going to do this. It's something different. What have I got to lose? And it was just a game changer. It was a game changer. It's completely different, something alternative. As you say, you give us the tools to regulate yourself. It's not just like, oh, you can do these sort of things, and you can have this pill and this one here and then do that. And that doesn't work. We'll do a combination of 5 or 6, and they'll say, no, this is your problem. Like, this is something that's causing you all the unresourceful decisions. Let's work on that, confront it, sit with what's coming up with your emotions, and when it comes up next time, you know how to deal with it. You just keep going on the upward spiral of challenges, but every time you face the same challenge, you're always going to face, or similar challenges in your life are always going to pop up, but you're just better equipped at dealing with it.
Yeah.
So you can be reflective and go, hey, I dealt with that like 2 years ago. Fuck, I can do it again easy. And then, another one comes up, I can blast through this. You just feel so empowered to do these things. And it's, it's more whole. It brings you together. It's not like like I say, it's not a Band-Aid fix. It's like actually getting to the wound, and you're healing it from the core up. And that's to say, it's definitely taken off. A lot of people are using the sort of methods we do, which are the ice bars, the breath work and things, but they only do it isolated. Those isolated things, you feel great for a couple of minutes, a couple of hours, maybe a day or two. But, when you do a program like we have, the signature ones like the Shift or Kings and Empress when it comes through, or just even a reconnection day, holy shit, like, you learn enough to be able to start that journey of becoming a full and whole human. Yeah. And, and dealing with those deeper issues rather than, in my opinion, masking it with another pill. Something different. But, like you say, it's a game changer. Certainly what we need. So,
can I ask some questions about it? What you just went through. First thing, the first question I had was, when those initial moments of like, hey, Max, you need to go fucking see someone about this.
Yep.
Did you have any beliefs about it, or was it just beliefs passed on to you?
That's a good question. When I first was told about it, when I was 21, it was after my 21st birthday, when I got fucking hammered, and I must have been saying some pretty dark shit, enough for them to go, there's something not right with you.
Sure.
And then when my mate my housemate, my best mate too, he confronted me and said, mate, we're a bit concerned about some of the shit you were saying on your birthday. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you're saying this and this. So it's pretty serious. I think you should go and see somebody for it. I think I knew deep down there was something wrong. It just takes someone to hold the mirror up. You know, like yourself, like what you do with me all the time. You hold the mirror up and go, yeah, okay, no, there's something wrong here. And then probably later on as well, in my relationship, it was very similar. I was told there's things that you need to deal with, and I knew, but at the time and just with my people pleasing tendency, it was like, oh, don't worry about me as long as you're okay. Look, as long as you're okay, that's all that matters. Like if you're happy, I'm happy. Sort of thing. It's
gotcha.
like, so I would put myself. Yeah, I'd forget myself just to make sure the other person was happy and happy as Larry, and I hope they were. What we did, we had many happy moments. I just hope they were, and but made me realise that people pleasing isn't good. As long as you're hot, like it comes from a different place now. I love serving other people. I love helping other people. Yeah, but it comes from a place that I'm happy with and want to do it. Yeah, it gives me pleasure that I help people out. But
and even get more specific with it. Not just like beliefs put onto you, but when someone said, hey, Max, you need to go see someone about it, did you go, yep, okay, I agree with going to see the GP? Or did you have no understanding? You just go, well, this is just what you need to go do. This is the only thing that we can do. Yeah,
I think the beliefs were from a young age, man, as well. You go and see a doctor, you go see a GP to get medication for one, or you go and see a psychologist. And if that doesn't work out, you go psychiatrist. I honestly thought it was a hierarchy system. A psychologist, GP.
So what if you learnt at a young age that wasn't the only thing you can do? So let's just say, see how you said I had this and this and this as my belief system. This is what you did, then this, then this. What if that was still there, but you said, hey, also these are proven methods through these studies that this is what works as well?
Oh man, if you had more options to do, it probably would have been better for me as a kid, knowing that I don't want to go on medication. I don't want to be like my mates who aren't themselves anymore. Say, oh shit, here is an alternative. I'm going to go and explore that option. So you can if I was doing this when I was friggin' 15, 16.
It's like it's funny. It's like Tahi, what football team do you support? Why?
Just what I grew up with. I'm from here.
Yeah, you're from here. Cool. Yeah, but like besides being from here, why do you support them?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, cool. So that's pretty much it. What footy team do you support?
I actually used to support the Sharks because my real father did.
Exactly, right? So one of the reasons why you support that team is because, my parents did. Yeah. It's like, I've seen a video clip about this, and I asked Lauren about this a few years ago when we were doing like Christmas cooking. I was like, why do you cook that piece of meat in that way? Like you do this and then that, this, and then it's like all timed out and everything like that. She's like, oh, it's just what Mum showed me. Yeah. And then you go speak to her mum and it's like, oh, why do you do it? Oh, it's just what my mum showed me. Then you go speak to her mum, God bless her soul, and she's like, oh, it's just what I was taught. Yeah. It's like, well, that's just what we get taught. It's just what it is. Yeah. It's like, well, what if that's not what it is? Yes. What if we change that?
That's a point. That's a great
Do you know what
point.
I mean? It's like all of a sudden now you go, huh. Yeah, well, maybe that's just what it is, but it doesn't have to be that way.
That's a very good point, because you're right with the culture shift. This is with anything. Now we have access to fucking everything that we ever want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we take the news with with a fucking handful of salt now, not a grain. Like back in the day when you got the news on your TV or through the newspaper, that was it.
That was it, exactly. Yeah.
And you'd hope that they tell the truth, but obviously we all know it's bullshit. We can get any bit of information. So whenever anyone says anything to you, like I'm going to verify that right now with that microcomputer that, I won't get the specifics. There was less technology on the fucking space shuttle that went to the moon than what's in our hand. But anyway, to be able to do that.
So let's just say that. And then the last question that I had for your part was, so how many months now is it since we got off medication wise?
Oh, shit. I think I got rid of them in March, April. That's about six or so months.
And then have you noticed any, like since they fully got out of your system, have you noticed any difference in regards to like ability to regulate or anything like that?
No, I can do it better. I can do it myself. Honestly, I didn't feel anything really. Like I don't feel that well, it's chalk and cheese in a way. Like it could have been that I was going through and learning these different sort of methods and modalities as I was on them.
Sure.
But as soon as I kind of knew that I'm not going to spiral, that I can do the alchemization of a lot of different things, like, playing the stories all the way out, feeling emotions, sitting with them, being okay, knowing that I'm not going to spiral out and jump off a bridge or go out of the back shed. I know I'm not going to do that. It's I feel like, in a way, like I was probably, I wouldn't say wasted, but I didn't have to do it. If I had these to start with before I had to go down the medication path, I probably wouldn't even have to have touched them.
Yeah, because do you know? Sorry to cut you off, but do you know what I would love? Like definitely in the years process, definitely after we've solidified this new game that we're speaking about and everything like that. Do you know I would fucking love for us to be a part of a GP's action plan? Yeah,
that's powerful.
Do you know how fucking powerful that would be?
Yeah.
We create an action plan and they can go, hey, this is what I'm going to put on the table for you. You can go down this path. You can go do this. You can get on the meds. Do it that way. They work in this regard. They don't work in this regard. You also have this. You can go speak to someone about it, or there's this. Put everything on the table. Let the human decide what they want to do.
That's right.
Instead of I'll speak about my personal stuff after Tahi, but similar thing, man. When I first started, I had straight to the GP, didn't even go speak to someone else. It was just like, all right, cool, get onto these meds, off you go. It's like, that's not the correct way that should be fucking happening. But imagine if there was just everything put out on the table. This is what you can do. Make up your mind.
That's right.
It would be really powerful, yeah.
Like most things, you kind of want to look at medical intervention as a last resort. For a lot
Well,
of things,
well, if you want to go down the path of who makes the money, if they don't go down that path, then, you can probably get your answers there. But anyway, we're not going to go down political path on this podcast.
No.
But yeah.
Because there's a huge validity for that pathway.
Sure,
which is
100%.
people with serious mental conditions that require medication, that do require some control.
Yes, exactly.
Those things are there. We're not saying we're better or worse.
No.
It's just a different sort of thing. It's a different thing I experienced anyway.
Yeah.
Like I went down the medication path. It didn't work for me.
Yep.
And I found this much more effective in managing my
100%.
mental illness.
Yeah, mental health strength and mental health, disorders and everything like that, two different things.
Yes.
Get very clear with that. That's two different things. But yeah, Ty, what about you, bro? What's the experiences, old game versus new game?
With the old game, I growing up, I had the way I saw, in my eyes, was the way to deal with my emotions was either commit suicide or be angry. So most of them, for a very long time, from the age of 17 to probably 28, I was in a pretty bad way, and I'd because I'd seen a lot of people around me commit suicide.
Yep.
And going to speak to someone wasn't really. I never knew anyone that actually went and spoke to someone.
Sure.
So that type, I didn't really think about seeing someone until I was 25 or 6, whatever it was. But yeah, when I finally got to the point where I thought I could speak to someone, I did it for probably 6 months, and I just wasn't really vibing with it. Wasn't really landing for me. They would just tell me to do stuff. I'd go in and speak, and the stuff that I was doing I knew was bad. But then I think there was one time I went in there and I said something. She kind of validated what I did wrong to be good. It was okay to do it. Sure. And then that kind of just was just didn't really sit with me right. So then I went to another guy, and just even with him, I just didn't feel like this is for me.
Yeah.
So I just went away from doing that. And the way I dealt with it all was just drinking, partying, drugs, and sex. And that was went for a very long time, because that's all I kind of knew. I didn't know there wasn't much, where to go, what to do. And then when I got to a little bit older, Mum was after I went through that last bit of stuff in my life, Mum was maybe go speak to someone.
Yep. So
I did that, and just didn't really feel it. Then I think that was 2019 was the last time I seen someone, and then there was a period between pretty much 2019 till 2022, started 2022 when I come across Polaris. There was a period there I was just looking for everything. I started coming off the drinking and drugs a lot, another reason why I didn't really want to go to a psychologist and stuff was
Sorry to cut you off, but do you know what's crazy? It wasn't started 2022. It was started 2021.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Jesus.
Yeah. Time flies, huh?
Another.
Actually, no.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry. That's not important.
Yeah. And another reason why I didn't want to go down the psychologist way too is like with the drug stuff is like I didn't want to go on medication because I was already addicted to coke and other drugs. I didn't want to get addicted to something else.
Sure.
And I've heard I heard a couple of guys that say like they all had like their like they would have their medication they had and it wasn't really helping. So I was like, if it's not helping them, like why is it going to help me?
Mm.
So that's another reason why I didn't really want to go down that path. So then I was just doing little things, just trying to find like going on social media and looking up stuff like what can I do to be better. And yeah, nothing really landed until I come across Polaris, and then literally just I'm the type of person where I'll just go into something without even really thinking about it or what it's all about. I didn't even know it was about mental health stuff, to be honest. I didn't know what it was. I just went into it. And like now going into it, I look back at it, it's like what I was doing before the Polaris, I was putting a Band-Aid on something that needed surgery. And then now like the surgery happened when I started Polaris, like doing all the new stuff, like the courses. Yeah, like stepping into this new space. And yeah, like the difference between those for me is Jacob doesn't tell you what to do. It's like we do all this stuff and every answer comes from me, like not him. So he's not saying, like, if I just say to him, well, what do I need to do here? He doesn't say, you should go do this. It's more, he'll just ask different questions in different ways, and then I'm just processing it a lot different. So it's coming from me. Because I remember when I was seeing a psychologist, she would ask me to go do stuff. And I didn't want to do it because I was like, I don't want to do it. Like, one of my biggest things was I had social anxiety. And she got me to go do something, which I did, which it kind of worked. But then I'd get there and I didn't know what to do in that moment. She didn't tell me what to do once I got to that point. She was like, so one of my things was like, just go sit at a cafe. Yeah. And then just pretty much deal with your anxiety. So then I got there and I just didn't know, my anxiety got even worse. So then I left. So then like with here, I've been able to deal with all those things on my own from the tools that Jacob supplied us with. And I think that's the difference is he's not, like Polaris isn't telling you what to do. It's just showing you how to do things, and any decision you make after that is on you, and you're accountable for it. But you are given probably the right tools. Well, you're definitely given the right tools on how to handle and regulate your own emotions. You're not just getting told from a booklet type of thing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's what empowerment is, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, you know, in those, and I get it, like, fuck, in those moments, you know, even when I had a conversation with you or Maxi or, you know, any client, I'm like, I know what you need to do. Like, it's there. I'm like, I fucking could just tell you right now to go do it. And then you just take a moment and you go, even if this takes Tahi or Max fucking 3 months to work out, they're going to gain so much knowledge and so much power from this if they do it themselves, compared to me going, you need to go do this. Because if you start to step into an arena of going, I'm going to tell you what to do, all of a sudden now you're putting your beliefs onto someone else. So therefore, I'm just creating carbon copies of me. And that's not what I'm here to do. Okay, so it's more about creating your own identities through your own actions, through your belief systems and everything like that. But yeah, it's as challenging as it can be, especially, you know, when you're like, fucking, oh no, you need to fucking just go do this. That's not what we're here to do. And, you know, like Tahi said, mine, I won't go fucking heaps into depth of mine because I think I've spoken about it 15 times already. But, you know, very similar thing, you know, go through a very, very big mental breakdown. I didn't even know what the fuck the mental breakdown was. It was like a 2 to 3 week period of like 100% anxiety flowing through my body. Like the thought of even getting out of bed was like, I can't even fathom getting out of bed right now. That's how like peak it was. So yeah, went through that for 2 to 3 weeks. Similar thing, you know, Lauren wasn't in a position to go, you need to go see someone. It was more me going, oh, I'm going to run back to my mum and ask mum what to do, which was, I love you, mum, but it's probably not the best decision to do because mum's a hypochondriac as it is. So she was like, let's GP, let's go now. So we ran straight over there, got that done. Similar thing. Sat down, half an hour discussion. Go get this, go get on this. And, you know, when still remember these thoughts of like, you know, I was a bit trimmer than what I am now, but, you know, fucking very athletic dude that was, you know, on top of the world in regards to like, you know, physical health and everything like that. And now all of a sudden I'm on antidepressants. I'm like, what? I thought I was healthy. I thought I was like, I didn't know there was something wrong with me. Why is there something wrong with me? Holy fuck. And I went through that spiral. Anyway, so I went on to ADs and had them for 3 days. And I remember on the third night I woke up and I don't know if you boys have had this feeling before, but it felt like my skin was like overlapping. Like it felt like I was coming out of my skin. Like that's what it felt like when I was on them. And I was like sitting there for like an hour going like pulsating, being like, what the fuck is going on? And I had this thought in my head. I remember the GP going, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Like you need to push through this period. And I was like, I can't even fathom getting through the next 20 minutes, let alone doing this. So, got out of bed, straight into the kitchen and just tried to stop it once and for all. And luckily, I don't know, once again, I still can't explain this. Seems to have a deeper connection to something higher above. It was definitely something higher above, but just this big thought just come in and just said, do not fucking do that, you idiot. Like, just stop that.
It's crazy. It's crazy when you get that higher.
Yeah, it just
thing.
fucking went straight into my brain, bro. And I stopped it, the ADs down the toilet, and I was just like, I don't know what else I can do, but I'm definitely not doing that. That's fucking up something in me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not going to do that. Fuck that. So I did that. Still had the constant anxiety, but at least I wasn't jumping out of my fucking skin. It's funny. Like, you can sort of understand what's natural compared to what's a synthetic feeling in your body. You could definitely tell the difference. This was definitely synthetic. I was like, what the fuck is going on at the moment? So yeah, got off them. It was literally a 6-month period, or probably even a 12-month period of sort of just like pushing it to the side. Didn't tell anyone that I tried to end myself, you know, that night for 18 months. And then Ali was born. Still, once again, another 12 months of like pushing it to the side, fucking drinking, gambling, snorting copious amounts of coca all the time, smoking darts, like just anything that I could to damage my body to escape it. It was just like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Until there was a pinnacle moment where Ali was just having a conversation with Lauren out in the lounge room, and I was in the bed, like 12 o'clock, right? This is 12 p.m. Shades fucking down, darkness of a room, like didn't want to entertain anything. And I remember Ali going, hey, Mum, why doesn't Dad ever want to play with me? Like, have I done something wrong? Like, what's going on? And like any parents out there, you hear that, it's just like fucking knife into your heart and you twist it. And I was just like, I had like, once again, higher moment just hit me. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you know, once again, I don't know what to do, but what I'm doing right now isn't the way that I want to live my life and want to manage this. So
Yeah.
as soon as I accepted that, Lauren used to do birthing classes out the back of our house in like a granny flat. And this couple come along and this couple came along and she was having a conversation with him. And she was like, hey, what's your name? He said, my name's Jacob. And she's like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a men's coach. And she's like, what's a men's coach? And he's like, basically we create a support system for men to be able to express their emotions. She's like, I've got a client for you. And he's like, oh yeah, who? And she's like, my partner. So, yeah, shout out Jacob, saved my life in those moments doing that program, and stepped out of that program. And then that's when the fire was lit for me. I was just like, you know, I need to go through the depths of how you did this and how you created this. So yeah, that's what I did. Went through the process of learning everything, obviously added my own stuff into it, you know, went down the NLP path, did all of that, and went through breathwork facilitation process, did that, hypno work, did that. So added own flavors into it. And then all of a sudden, here we are years later. So, yeah, that was my experience, old game versus new game. Yeah, like we said, we can only speak about our own personal experiences in the old game versus the new game. But, you know, from all three of us, I know which game I want to play out. I know what I want to be deep within. And, you know, you can gain the evidence yourself. Like you can see the boom in, fucking breath work and ice baths and cold immersions and saunas and whole foods and exercise and everything like that. Especially cold immersions. That was never a major evidence piece for your mental health. That was just used for recovery. Now all of a sudden you're getting all this feedback of how much it does for your mental health, and it's just like, there is definitely some massive validation for this new game that's this starting to arise. So, that's our experiences. Once again, we're not here to sell Polaris or sell it at all. We're just here to speak about this new game. And like we said, if you don't want to get left behind, you better fucking get on board the train that we're creating, because it's it's fucking insane. Especially the new stuff that we're working on at the moment. It's to be quite honest, I'd never thought that all of us would be able to create something like we have, what's on that whiteboard next to you, Maxi. It's it's funny once you get really dialed in that, like Maxi, you can see how much writing's on that whiteboard. That took me like 7 minutes to write down. It just like
there's a lot there.
It just comes out, yeah. So, I suggest that everyone gets onto our email list, because that's who's receiving all this information at the moment. And we've already got 11 people on the wait list. So it's going to be fucking insane. So it's very cool. It is very, very interesting. And like we said, it's up to you to make your informed decision about it 100%. But there's a reason why you're listening to these podcasts, right?
That's
Otherwise you'd be listening to other podcasts or associating yourself in another arena. So
that's right. Or, people literally dipping their toes in the cold water every now and again. It's like, oh, this is doing something. Fuck, why don't you just take the full plunge?
Yeah.
Do the deep dive and join up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we said, this is the new game. This is what's happening. This is the regulation area that we're stepping into. People want to get empowered and learn these pieces for ourselves, and we're going to be the leaders in this field. Yeah. That's what we're here for. We're going to lead this field 100%. And like I said, the stuff that we've got created, especially for 2024, fuck me swinging. Let's just say that, fuck me swinging. So, have you boys got anything to add? I reckon that's pretty cool. That
was good.
Buddy.
Pretty hectic.
Yeah. Like we said, that's what the podcast is going to look like. Now, this being Friday, you would have seen on Wednesday, we dropped our first episode of Heart-Centered Leadership with the legend Maddie Holland. Like we said, now that we're starting to get really clear on this new culture shift, we want to show the leaders in that field what it's been like for them, that they've stepped into this field, what it looks like, what's their learnings, what's different for them, what have they become, everything like that. Once again, it's not like we're trying to show, Polaris is great and everything like that. We just want to show the leaders in this field and the characters in this field and what their life is like. That's what we want to show. That podcast dropped. That's going to be somewhat of a regular thing. It's just, obviously, when we get enough time to be able to do it. Expect them once every now and then. We're aiming for like twice a month. So, expect them every now and then. So there's some extra podcasts in there for you as well. And then probably, what's this? Next week is going to be, it'll be a guest. We haven't got one locked in yet, but it'll be a guest. So, yeah. Easy. So, these podcasts will continue in the same manner when we've got the guests on, converse about their field and their world and everything like that. But when it's just us three boys, we're going to be locked and loaded for new game and speaking everything about it and how to win at this new game. That's what we're here for. Yeah. Easy. Cool. All right. Let's fucking blow this bitch out and let's go. All right. We'll all see you all next week. Enjoy. Peace. Much love. Bye-bye. Fade to black.